You got money you didn't fully earn, and something changed in you. Maybe it was a bonus, an inheritance, a lucky investment, a side hustle that blew up overnight. It doesn't matter how it came. What matters is what happened after. Because here's the thing nobody says out loud. Easy money doesn't just change your bank account, it changes how you think. Quietly, slowly, in ways you won't notice until the damage is already done. And the scary part? It feels like growth. It feels like clarity. It feels like you finally figured something out. But did you? Think about a time you worked hard for something. Really hard. Not just effort, but sacrifice. You gave up sleep, comfort. You made bad trades to get it. And when you finally had it, you treated it differently. You protected it. You thought about it carefully. Every decision around it carried weight. Now think about money that just arrived. Did you treat it the same way? Be honest. There's a pattern here. And it's not about money. It's about what your brain does when something costs you nothing. When you struggle for something, your brain labels it as valuable. It attaches meaning to it. That meaning slows you down, makes you careful, makes you think twice, makes you ask, is this worth it? But when something arrives easily, your brain doesn't assign that same weight. It treats it as overflow, as extra, as something that can be spent without consequence. And this is where something starts to break down in you. Not dramatically, not all at once, just quietly. You start making decisions you would have never made before. Not because you're careless, but because your internal alarm system went silent. The thing that used to say, wait, think about this, it stopped firing. Easy money didn't just fill your wallet, it muted your judgment. Why does this happen? Because difficulty is not just pain. Difficulty is information. When you work hard for something, your brain is processing thousands of small data points. Failure, feedback, friction. Each one teaches you something. Each one sharpens how you see the world. Easy money bypasses all of that. You get the result without the education, the reward without the map, and now you're holding something valuable with no real understanding of how it works, where it came from, or how quickly it can disappear. That's not wealth. That's a loaded weapon you don't know how to carry. Here's what nobody wants to admit. When money comes easy, ego expands to fill the space. Not the loud, arrogant kind of ego. The quiet kind. The kind that whispers, you deserved this. The kind that makes you feel like your judgment is better than it actually is. The kind that convinces you that your next idea is good, not because you tested it, but because the last thing worked. And when ego leads, thinking follows. You start to confuse luck with skill, timing with talent, arrival with understanding. Have you ever watched someone burn through money they didn't earn and wondered how they could be so blind? Now flip that. Has anyone ever watched you? There's another layer here, one that's harder to look at. Easy money creates a new identity. Fast. You start to see yourself differently. You dress differently. You talk differently. You make plans that match the version of yourself you've started to believe in. And this is the trap. Because now protecting that identity becomes more important than making good decisions. You can't admit you don't know what you're doing, because that would collapse the story you're telling yourself. You can't slow down and think carefully, because careful people don't match the image of someone who figured it out. So you keep moving, you keep spending, you keep deciding, not because you're confident, but because stopping would force you to ask a question you're not ready to answer. What if I'm not as smart as this money made me feel? Easy money creates a very specific kind of blindness. And it's not stupidity in the traditional sense. It's not about IQ. It's not about education. It's about feedback. Smart thinking requires feedback loops. You try something, it fails. You adjust, you learn. Over time, that loop builds real judgment. But when money comes easy, you're operating without the loop. You're flying with no instruments. And the worst part is, for a while, it works. The confidence feels justified. The decisions feel right. The identity feels solid. Until it doesn't. And by the time you realize the loop was broken, you've already made the decisions that will define the next 5 years of your life. Now here's the uncomfortable truth. This isn't just about sudden windfalls. This is about any time life makes something easy for you. Anytime you succeed, without fully understanding why. Anytime results arrive before wisdom does. Think about relationships that came too easily. Did you value them the same? Think about opportunities you didn't have to chase. Did you show up the same? Think about skills you were just naturally good at. Did you ever truly develop them? The pattern doesn't change. The thing that costs you nothing teaches you nothing. And the thing that teaches you nothing eventually costs you everything. So what do you do with this? Not a checklist, not a system. Just one honest question you have to be willing to sit with. Where in your life right now are you operating on results you didn't fully earn? Not to feel guilty, not to punish yourself, but because the answer to that question is exactly where your blind spot lives. And blind spots don't disappear because you ignore them. They grow, quietly, slowly, in ways you won't notice until the damage is already done. Here's the thing about easy money. It doesn't make you stupid, it makes you feel smart. And that's so much more dangerous. Because a person who knows they don't understand something will slow down, will ask questions, will stay humble enough to learn. But a person who feels smart, they already have all the answers. The account empties, the business fails, the opportunity collapses, and they're still standing there, confused, wondering why the world stopped making sense. The money was never the problem. The silence it bought inside your own head was.